Welcome. And this is the place where we check in sound. We check in sound, and on my side, I see everything is fine. Welcome to Kong Builders, the show, live show, unscripted, where we talk about all things Kong, connectivity, and cloud. My name is Viktor Gamov, and I will be your host today. It's been a while, It's been 2 weeks. We trying to keep this bi-weekly cadence, and we talk about interesting things here. So if you see me, if you hear me, let me know in the comments where you're from. As a reminder, for those of you who join us for the first time, we actually stream in two places. We stream into YouTube, which is my favorite place. This is where I like to be. We stream also to LinkedIn. Apparently, a lot of people have a lunch break because we're streaming this at noon at the Eastern time zone, and looks like, according to our stats, according to our data and machine learning, that many people who watch our show, they have maybe lunch break. But it's also on Pacific, it's 9 a.m. People just waking up, grabbing their cup of coffee, and join us for session where we're going to be talking about some cool stuff. Okay. Okay. I see people joining us. That's already some regular folks. Tony from Winnipeg. Snow. No, I don't like snow, but I'm super happy that you enjoy this, Tony. Okay. And yeah, that's coffee. Coffee is happening. So I don't have a coffee yet. I don't have a coffee yet today. I had the cup of coffee. And yeah, so we're gonna be doing this. So I hope everyone had a great break during the holidays, during the time with maybe doing nothing. Maybe some of the people may be working. I've been working as well, and I was doing some research for some personal projects. Got the new laptop for Christmas, and I did some research how to do things on the new laptop. This laptop has slightly different architecture than my previous machines, and also caused me some of the interesting things. And I was working on some of the local workflows for Kong, and many of you know that I'm a huge Kubernetes fan, and my work that I do somehow related to Kubernetes. I like to run my demo on Kubernetes. I'm a huge fan. Sometimes people asking how to deal with the local deployments, how to deal with local workflows, how we can run the Kong in some of the local setting. So on the previous videos that you can find on this YouTube channel, if you watch this in a YouTube channel, those are in either Kong YouTube channel. Oh, I forgot that I'm streaming in multiple places at the same time. On the Kong YouTube channel, I did the video about running Kong in Docker. And the previous live streams, I showed you how we can use the local development for testing some of the Kong deployments. And in a kind of in the same theme of this kind of local deployment, I decided to test out some of the popular tools to run Kubernetes locally, specifically how we can do this with Kong and how we can test it with Kong. Kong is a API gateway, so you need to have certain requirements on the local deployment if you're running Kong there. So today we're gonna, at least I'm planning to see two tools. One is the Minikube. And another tool is Kubernetes in Docker. It's an abbreviation. So we're going to look into this one and how you can deploy Kong there, how you can run the Kong. One thing actually bothers me that's the way how the people don't know about Conk, or people don't know how to run Conk and Kubernetes, because there was no like reasonable information available. So that's why maybe some of the out-of-the-box solutions are popular. I don't want to bash those solutions, but think about this as a kind of in-store brand, right? Like everything that ships with your whatever, your favorite store, your favorite the Kubernetes distribution, whatever it comes with there, it probably will do the thing. But hey, Conk might do a little bit better, and we see how we can install this at least in a local development, in a local environment. Okay. Now, so now I'm going to start with a Minikube. Minikube, it is a it's pretty cool project actually. So it actually have ability to run Kubernetes locally, but it has a concept of drivers. Let me do this screen a little bit bigger. Yeah. So allows you to run Kubernetes locally, and it has this concept of driver. So with the with driver, you can run this using any underlying technology that you have available. You might have Docker installed. So HyperKit, it is a low-level virtualization framework that are available in macOS. Hyper-V, it's for Windows. Parallels also available. This Podman, VirtualBox, and VMware Fusion Solutions. So here's the thing. I try to run multiple things, and somehow only more or less successful and portable solution that I have found. If you found something different, or if your mileage is different, also write down in the comments. For me, only combination of macOS and the Docker as a driver worked fine. I tried other things. HyperKit used to work, but it really does make any sense because it's Docker still uses HyperKit. Podman didn't work for me. People from Podman, if you watching this, let me know what I'm doing wrong. Couldn't make it work. I tried yesterday very hard. VirtualBox and other solutions. VirtualBox is not working with my current setup, so we're gonna stick to macOS and this. So since I'm on a Mac, I can just do brew install Minikube. And in this case, it will go and installs the Minikube for me. I already have it installed, and so I don't need to do anything. Yep, so I already have it, and if I do version, yeah, so it's 124. So with this setup, we're gonna try to run some of the apps. We will deploy this in Kubernetes. We will deploy Conk and Conk Ingress Controller and try to do stuff locally. So idea is to have a local experience, have somehow access the applications from within Kubernetes cluster locally, meaning that on the host machine. So I will be using the, this is kind of like as a success criteria, right? Now I do have a Docker, and nothing is running with Docker yet. When I do Minikube start, so I want to use this type of setting. So I will using 4 CPUs, 8 GB of memory. Maybe it's overkill for someone. I just want to have a little bit more flexibility on this one. Okay, and specifying driver Docker, you can specify driver for everything. So for example, if we go into say, drivers, and we'll see what kind of drivers and how to enable those. there's okay, it's a development of the drivers. No, we want to do something like getting starting. Handbook, let's see, deploy and accesses, configuration, your cluster. Yeah, so there is a command that allows to set the driver by default. In this case, if I'll just do, where is it? Okay, I'll just do minikube config get driver. There's no driver by default. So let me put my Docker as my default driver, and I will just do driver Docker. So when I run the minikube now, I don't need to start this Docker thingy anymore, but since I already have this command. So as you can see here, I'm running this in the Apple Silicon machine, and the thing that I'm doing right now actually works on other machines. I think Linux should be not a problem. It's just like it just works there. Usually it this type of tooling, this type of setting, shows some of the problems on some of the strange places like Windows or Mac. Yeah, so I think it's a pretty good use case because many people trying to run this locally, Kubernetes locally, and running this with Quank as well. All right, as you might know, you can always write down in the comments in a YouTube section or LinkedIn. I also will see your comments if you're watching this in a LinkedIn. And also you can comment on the recordings. If you want to have some of the question answered during this show, I can do that for you on the next time. But don't forget, put the comments in the comment section. All right, so if I run this, it looks like it's up. So if I will run Docker PS, I do see that this one image of minikube is running. This is our Kubernetes cluster running. And my kube control also will be connected to get nodes. So now my kube control also configured to work against this minikube. So for the next thing is that we're going to using this simple script to install conk. If I will just do which K. K, it's my alias. So oops, not kind. It's my alias to kube control. So like, don't worry if every time I type something like kube apply -f, and after that gps bit.ly/conk for Kubernetes. And what it does, let me do this one. Okay, oops. For some reasons, it not allow me to open another session. Let me fix my terminal. So when I have a profiles, my default is actually being which is ESH. Another quirk that I need to put the ESH, and we're doing presentation hotkey window. Yeah, so that's how it breaks. And now it should work. Now it should work without any problem. Why is that? Use a local bin sh. Let me fix this a little quick. That happens. live streams. Yeah, because live streams uses wrong terminal session. Now it should be, come on. Anyway, we're going to be using the another window. If I will just do edit session, live streams, this is dark session, okay. K9S, that's my local deployment, and now I see there's a bunch of nodes that are running here, and there's nothing services. Just do namespace, yep, and nodes, just one node, and pods. Yeah, some of the pods that running inside this is the pods that support Kubernetes itself. Now, so what I will do here, and I will run this stuff here, and we'll see a bunch of stuff that happens from Kong. And let's go to service. Now, many of you will see this type of stuff that happens. Like you see that when you're running this somewhere in outside, like you're running this in managed cluster, you will see something like this. Now, like external address is pending. So there's a couple options what you can do. One of the options is to install load balancer. And when you go to, say, Minikube add-ons list, you'll see a bunch of interesting things that are available. So Minikube supports the plugins, and one of the things that you can do, you can install this Metal LB that allows you to run the load balancer. I have a limited success with running this this tool with on my current setting, on the setting that I use right now. So I found there's another option, and the option says so Minikube tunnel. So Minikube tunnel allows to kind of connect to services that require load balancer. And apparently, this is the only working way that is portable, more or less. I know that many people in my team, they use installing some of the Metal LB and configuring this one. So I'm going to be using this one. So for example, if I run this stuff somewhere in separate window, so say Minikube tunnel, so what it will do, because Kong requires access to port 80 and 443, those are privileged ports, so I need to get access in like a pseudo fashion. Now, so when I switch here, all of a sudden my load balancer now have external IP says, 27001. So no place, no place like localhost, right? So with this, so I can do something like HTTP localhost, and all of a sudden we see these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We see these 5 words that every system administrator wants to hear. No route much with those values. I'm just kidding. Also write down in the comments if you got the reference. So it works. So we hit this endpoint, meaning that the Kong is listening. Now we can configure things like ingress. So let's take a look. What do we have here in terms of what we can deploy here? It turns out that in the world of Kubernetes, the usage of this HTTP echo server is kinda the thing. So if I'll do HashiCorp HTTP echo. So I saw this in the many documentations It looks like it's a really small container that listens particular port and replies with the same request. So we're gonna be using the same thing. So when it's my personal motto, I would say, to meet developers where they are. So if you already using this one, I'm not trying to change your habit. We're gonna change this later, but for now we're gonna use this one. Here's the problem though. The problem with this tool is that currently I'm running this in ARM64 architecture machine, and this image was not built there, so it fails when I deploy this image into Kubernetes. So that's why I'm using this. Someone in community just went and forked there and created multi-arc the image. So we're gonna be using this pod. And two services. One service will have will receive the foo as a, again, this is the example. It's not my example. I didn't come up with this example. This example, it came from documentation somewhere, either from Kind or from Minikube. So I'm just using this whatever is there. And another, same thing, but replies back with bar. And we have two services. One service, let me show you. Yeah, so we have two pods, two services, and one ingress. So for now, we're not doing anything here with conc. Let me remove this one. So the those two services are will be deployed, and we put ingress in front. So when we hit this server /foo, will give us access to foo service, and bar access to bar service. It's very straightforward. So I'll just do where I am. Okay, so I didn't move things in the right place. Just do it here. Move it here and move to trash. Where's delete? Yep. Okay, now we do Kubernetes supply usage. And if I go, say, here, we'll see two new services. And those services, by default, will have a cluster IP. Those services will not be available out to outside world because cluster IP. And I see listening, servers listening, and those up and running. And if I see ingress, there's one ingress that's configured against two things. So now if I will try to do HTTP localhost /foo, no route match this ingress, which is okay because we created ingress, but we didn't specify the class of this ingress. So the controller that will be listening for this ingress, it doesn't know what to do. So let's patch this. And in this case, I'll just do the patch like this. So with we need to specify the ingress class. So right now, as you can see here, there's nothing here. So we will wait until the patch command will be executed, and tunnel is still running. So I run this. If I go, ingress now has a class. As you can see here, class conc, meaning that now conc will be listening everything that happens with this ingress and allows us to get access to this guy. So if I'll just do localhost foo, and we get the response from foo. That's some of the headers that conc added and some of the responses that we get from this. If I'll just do bar, it works. So that's how you do it. So in this case, it is Minikube. We go ahead with the where's my so ASCII doc, just some of the notes that we're going to be doing with Minikube. With Minikube, we do first thing Minikube start, install conc with the shortcut command, use minikube tunnel in order to provide access to load balancer services. And after that, specify deploy ingress with ingress class name conc. So speaking about this ingress class name, so let's talk about this for a little quick. We do have ingress class. And specifically, there was a URL that I wanted to show you, ingress class. And there's a, since Kubernetes 1.11, previously many of you might use this Kubernetes IO ingress class annotation. Now it's considered deprecated, so you should not use Kubernetes IO / ingress class annotation. Now you should use ingress class name inside your spec. So essentially, if I go there, get ingress, example ingress, and output a YAML, and we'll just do pipe C -L YAML, some nice pipe. So now, as you can see here, we have this ingress class conc. That says that this is going to be a part of your specification. So there is a I'm still trying to figure out default behavior, what's going to be default behavior. And I mean, in that, like, why it's not picking up, because there would be only one. If you know the answer, write down in the comments or like a tweet at me, and I'll figure out what to do this next. But essentially, ideally, since it's a, ingress is kind of like a vendor neutral specification, there should be no the only one controller that listens to this one. Maybe it should be just no one is listening. So in this case, it should like pick up whatever ingress controller available. I don't know. So that's how it works with the minikube. So we start this, we install in conc, we have a tunnel, and also we enable ingress. So another thing that I was starting working while I was on the break is actually, instead of just there's plenty of add-ons in minikube. I'll just do list. There's stuff, but there's no conc add-on here. The thing that I started to work, hopefully it will be merged sometime. It is a conc ingress controller add-on for minikube. Hopefully it will be merged sometime soon, and we'll see. So you will be able to enable this like very quickly. Just do like minikube add-on enable conc, and you will be golden. Now, okay, so let me clean up this a little bit. So tunnel, I will stop the tunnel, and I'll just do minikube stop. I will stop minikube. So in this case, we'll continue to next one. Okay, I don't see many comments. Okay, I don't see many comments. Only Tony is cheering me up. Only Tony is cheering me up for this live stream. So if you want to see yourself in the live stream, go there in the comments, and we'll see you there. Okay, that's with minikube. So I'll just do docker ps. Another very popular approach and how the people use this, it is actually kind. So let's take a look on the kind then. So kind. that's another option. That's another thing, and kind of allows you to create Kubernetes clusters. As far as I can understand, kind of has only one driver, and this driver is Docker. So it's kind of Kubernetes in Docker. That's why logo, hence logo. And if I'll just do version. So it is also supported on new Apple Silicon and ARM architectures, which is good. You potentially can run this in Raspberry Pi, I think, in this case, since it's also ARM. So the yeah. So what we can do here, which is do kind. Oh, okay. So we need to do start create cluster. Comparing to Minikube, kind actually has extensive documentation about how to run ingresses, but kind doesn't have a similar functionality like a tunnel in Minikube. However, there's documentation that explains how this can be done. But the essential idea is to create a cluster with special configuration. And specifically, this is the custom resource definition for kind cluster. And one of the things that we need is extra port mapping. So essentially, we will take map the port of the pod that runs inside a particular node, and those port will be mapped to the host port. So essentially, we'll take we will run pod that runs my Kong, and then we will map it to local. Same thing with the port 80 and HTTPS port. There are configurations for 3 ingress controllers. One thing is missing that I also working on adding here, so that's why I'm kind of like running this experiment here with you folks, how to enable this. But I will be using this config if I will go ahead and say my kind cluster. That's what we're going to be using. Also, with this configuration, I will be able to specify where to deploy my Kong. So this is so do not forget about this one. Yeah. So let's run. If I'll just do create cluster dash config kind cluster. So it will create the cluster kind cluster with configuration that I provide. And starting the control plane, it's always fun to show this type of stuff real time and see how it will affect the quality of the stream and see how the if perform. So far the performance of this new machine was stellar, and the live stream quality didn't suffer. So let's see what, while it's starting, it's time for checking some Twitters. If we're doing if we're doing good there, not many people watching there. People, you should. That's important things. Now, the kind started. It was pretty quick, and if I go to my K9S. Now it says, let's see, not supposed to say Kubernetes K9S. And now if I'll just do nodes, as one node, and now we see it's a kind control panel, and there's a bunch of stuff is deployed here. That's cool. Let's see, services. There's just two services, and there's no external IP here. So all cluster IP. Now, we can use the same thing, same approach. We'll just do apply. We're just doing the same thing, just applying the Quant configuration here. And now what we can see, same thing with external IP. So it's pending because there's no load balancer deployed here. So what I want to do is use different approach. So the cluster IP, it's one of the default network configuration that will be available for the pod, but in the load balancer that we use a lot. So load balancer allows you to get external IP, and this external IP would be routed to cluster IP of the port of the pod that runs my API gateway. Now, in this particular case, we don't have external IP, so we're going to be using something else. So in this case, we're going to be using a thing called node port that allows me to expose particular pod to outside the container. Now, how we can do that? So, a couple things. So first of all, I need to patch my deployment. First thing that I need to patch my deployment to, if we're running this in a setting, maybe kind with multiple like virtual nodes that might be multiple like Docker containers that run inside the same network. I want to make sure that my my pod that runs conc will land on the same node that was marked as ingress ready. How does it work? So in this case, this is my kind cluster. With the kind cluster I created for the for kubeadmin, for the node where my stuff would be running, I will be running this, adding this extra label. So if I go here in and just do and if I will see here, there should be something like extra label. So the extra label was added to this node config ingress ready. So meaning that this node already have external port externalized to my host network. So to my host. Now I want to run my port on the same node and take the port that was exposed to outside world and use this for my pod. So it will be routed to my pod. So in this case, my requests will go into particular pod that runs conc. That's what I want to achieve here. Exit, and that's let's not the usage. We want to see a deployment patch. Same thing here. So we're gonna deploy this on the same node. Another thing, I need to modify the ports that my conc will be using. So container port will be the same because it's configured to use this port through through environment variable. The host port, this is something that we want to map to port of particular node. So we're going to be using this one, and that's the command that I want to use. We're going to be using the patch command. Okay, deployment patched. Next thing is that we also need to modify service for this in order to change load balancer to node port. So if I'll just do services, and because it's a load balancer, I want to patch it and oops. We're gonna patch the service. Oops, too many things going on. Now, if I go here, now it doesn't have to be node port, and now it needs to be just node port. So essentially, that's pretty much it. If I will go do HTTP localhost, and we see this like the routing that the tunnel did, we did this manually. Essentially, the result would be the same. Now, the next thing is that there's no ingress. There's no ingress. Again, we can do this two ways. One way would be creating the standard ingress and patch it, or we can create this ingress with the ingress class name equals conc. So in this case, conc will start using this ingress immediately. So if I'll just do usage, and when I hit this, what you saw here is just a moment where the service was not available yet, but now, a second ago, I fixed that, and just bar. Now it works. So we have access to this in the localhost HTTP. It's which HTTP? It's a HTTP and help. I'm using HTTP. It's a the utility that I use instead of curl. You can do the same thing with curl. So that's pretty much it. So with this, with the kind, so we create cluster with extra port mappings. We changed deployment to add additional tolerations and add additional labels, like change deployment to enforce node affinity, essentially. We changed service from load balancer to a node port. And yeah, ingress, same thing. Yep. So that's now you have it. Like you have two solutions: how you can run your Conc and how you can run your Kubernetes services inside the Conc, inside the you can run this in a different setting. So the you can find the previous versions when I was talking about how to use this, how to test your services conc with the test containers locally. Also, if you conc HQ, oops, conc. Okay, conc inc. And if you go to a playlist, there should be something like developer tutorials. Developer tutorials, and I'll just do tutorials. Conc tutorials, view full playlist, and you can find the one that how you can start conc with Docker using what is that? The Docker and Docker Compose and all these kind of things. You can always text me to my Twitter account. You definitely want to follow me for more updates. Hopefully you enjoyed this show the same way as I enjoy doing this. I don't have any problems with coming up with some of the subjects because there's a lot of things, the things in the Stack Overflow where the people asking questions, people in Conc Nation in our forum where the people asking questions. But also, like, let's make it a little bit more interactive, and you can always ask these questions about Kong, connectivity, and cloud in my Twitter. So thank you for being a part of Kong Builders today. My name is Viktor Gamov, and as always, have a nice day. I'll see you in 2 weeks.